Hey, hello, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Riser Fall to talk about Thursday night football. The Jacksonville Jaguars head to MetLife Stadium in Jersey, right, to take on the New York Jets. And this one is interesting. It's a lot more interesting than we've seen on some Thursday night football games here. There's some playoff implications, believe it or not, with the Jags and even the Jets still. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. Over under right now is at 38. That's kind of unassuming, right? 38 over under. I think we can deal with that. But before we get into the video and some favorite plays, and I have some beautiful betting trends, around 5 or 6 of them. I'm gonna have to choose which ones I want to mention, because this video could realistically be 30 minutes, because I'm very much into this football game from a DFS perspective and a sports betting kind of mindset here. But before we do that, make sure you go to the website at Team Riser Fall. When you use my promo code Beastie, see it on the jersey back there, you can get $10 off your first month of premium services. And what a beautiful time of year to kind of use that thing. It's December 22nd. Christmas is this Sunday. And what better way to stock some stuffings or just send a little gift to someone and go, hey, I got you a gift to Team Riser Fall. You want to take your DFS lineups to the next level? You want to get in on some sports betting and sports props? They have that all here in the Discord, which is free. But when you use that promo code Beastie or get a VIP subscription, you get a little bit, you unlock a whole nother level on the Discord. So use promo code Beastie, get the money off, use the fantasy cruncher, crunch to your heart, something content, and I will see you there. Now let's talk about football, shall we? This is what we've all been waiting for, right? Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence looks legit, right? He's broke out, right? And they're finally stringing some good, the Jacksonville Jaguars are finally stringing some good games together. They won last week. That was amazing. And when we look on the Jets side of things, it's like, the Jets fans are bummed out because Zach Wilson is now back at quarterback because of the injury to Mike White. And obviously he's not going to play this week. We wish him the best. Hurt his ribs, got pounded, but hey, that's the life and times of a professional football player, especially a quarterback. So let's get into this game. When we look at this one right now, it's realistically by kickoff at 8:15, as I said, it could be just a pick 'em right now, or last night whenever I did my notes here, the Jets were -1, Jacksonville's +1. Basically, that's a pick 'em, right? Even 1.5 points in my book, I would consider just a toss-up, a pick 'em. So let's dig through this thing. I'll show you which way I'm going, and then you can decide where you want to go, where your head's at. So let's start with the quarterbacks, right? And we got to start with Trevor Lawrence. Got a questionable tag, but this kid's going to play. He's finally rising to that superstardom level, and lo and behold, this has no bearing on today's game, so it's a kind of a waste of 30 seconds here, but I forgot Calvin Ridley was a Jacksonville Jaguar. I was looking, at my notes and my pen. I'll share these obviously, and I was looking at it, and I was checking prices on the Yahoo DFS portion of things, and I forgot that Calvin Ridley was a Jacksonville Jaguar. So in a way, the Jaguars this season, they're going above and beyond what we all had expected of them. Their fans, even guys and girls like us who bet are just a fan of football. Jacksonville, whatever they're doing now, it's gravy. It's all house's money, because next year I think they make a big time jump. But let me cool my jets. Let me hold my horses here. Trevor Lawrence, 16.5 on FanDuel, 11.4 on DK, $35 on the Yahoo DFS, which I've gotten into. It's fantastic. It's pretty fun. I've been giving prices for Yahoo for some time, but the Jets right now 9th overall against opposing quarterbacks. But if we entered some territory here with Trevor Lawrence, where I'm not going to give Trevor Lawrence that DVP doesn't matter tag, or set it and forget it kind of tag, but Trevor Lawrence has unlocked something. He's taken his game to the next level. So to me, the Jets, in a way, I've seen them play a few times, specifically last week against the Lions here. I've noticed some of their guys overcommit right on the outside. And Trevor Lawrence is a stud. He's a blue chip prospect. We used the #1 overall pick the last 10 years, and they made it happen here. I think Trevor Lawrence makes them pay here tonight. We look at Trevor Lawrence, 23 to 24 completions, 240 yards, 4 or 5 carries for another 15 yards, and he's accountable for at minimum 1 touchdown. We love to see that. When we move down the list here, it's Zach Wilson. When you look at Zach, 15 grand on FanDuel, 9.8 on DK, $24 on Yahoo, 20 to 21 completions, 255 to 260 passing yards in my book, 4 or 5 carries for another 15 yards. We look at Jacksonville, 27th overall against opposing quarterbacks. So the matchup is there. The DVP is all there for Zach Wilson and the Jets to take at the quarterback position. But this isn't I'm going to repeat something I saw on social media last week, and I saw it a lot here. It's not my personal opinion, but I kind of agree with it. When we looked at Zach Wilson last week, he was bailed bailed out big time by his wide receivers, right? There was several times, actually probably a half dozen, or what's a handful? 5, or, half dozen is 6 here. But Zach Wilson was bailed out big time. It looked like he was just under duress, under pressure, and he would just chuck the ball, heave the ball, and the wide receiver, made adjustments to come back to the ball to catch it here. So Zach Wilson last week, was he lucky a little bit on some of those longer, those 30, 40 plus yard passes? Maybe, but it's not up for me to decide. So Zach Wilson, as I said, a ton of money here tonight, one of the most expensive players on the slate. A quick glance here, it's Trevor Lawrence is the most expensive. Zach Wilson is second, and then it's like Travis Etienne, and we'll go from there. So to me, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, very much in play here tonight, more so Trevor Lawrence than anybody. When we look at the running backs, it's the young kid, second-year kid, Travis Etienne Jr., 14 grand on FanDuel, 9.6 on DK, $23 on Yahoo. Mind you, the Jets, 10th overall against opposing running backs here. The Jets have put together a pretty damn good defensive line, so they're going to, create some stop gaps, and they're just going to stuff Etienne a few times. But, a kid like him, you can't keep him down because he gets in on the receptions in the passing game, too. Travis, 18, 19 carries, 80 yards. Love that stat line. 2 to 3 receptions for around 15 to 18 yards. That's like a margin of error of 3 yards. It's like, well, why didn't you just say 20? Something was I crunch numbers, and I might plus, minus, times, divide, do long division here. And to me, it looks to be about 15 to 18 reception yards for Zach Wilson. JaMycal Hasty, 7.5 on FanDuel, 2.8 on DK, $10 on Yahoo. JaMycal Hasty, he's been active here. James Robinson, long gone here. He's with the Jets, but he's been inactive. But when we look at JaMycal Hasty, he's had some run here, not a ton. And to me, on a single game slate, I have to write every player down, whether you're second string, third string. If you're practice squad and got called up, I'm going to write it down just in case. And I don't mention every guy. These videos would be 2 hours here. But JaMycal Hasty, a little teeny bit of workload here. And what are the chances? 2-3 carries for about 10 yards, 1 or 2 receptions for another 8 to 10 yards. And what are the chances one of those carries or one of those swing passes he finds the end zone with? So beware here with JaMycal Hasty's cheap enough where you can plug him in right away. You open your blank screen and boom, I'll put JaMycal Hasty in first, and then you can, I'm not saying build around Hasty, but you can put him in and then forget it and put other guys around him. Snoop Connor, the rookie, 5.5 on FanDuel, 200 on DK, bare minimum $10 on Yahoo. Not much, right? 1-2 carries, 1-2 receptions, 5 yards. But again, be mindful of that. They might kind of or try to work him in as the game drags on here. When we look at the Jets running backs here, Michael Carter, Zonovan Knight, I'm still shocked that people call him Bam Knight. I had no idea where did that come from. He was like a hot waiver wire ad. People were talking about him in seasonal formats. And so like 2 or 3 weeks later, after all these carries, after being a bell cow for like 3 or 4 weeks, I saw someone call him Bam, and I still don't know the story behind it. So if you want to let me know, that'd be great. You can just say whatever, say your piece in the YouTube comments, and I'll read them, right? Michael Carter, 10 grand on FanDuel, 6.4 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. Carter, 6-7 carries, 25 yards, 3-4 receptions, another 30 yards here. So I'm thinking about 50, 55, 60 would be like a Christmas bonus, a Christmas gift for Michael Carter. And Jacksonville, 22nd overall against opposing running back Zonovan Knight, 12.5 on FanDuel, $21 on Yahoo. When you look at Bam Knight, however you want to put it, just a lot of work, a healthy 16 to 17 carries, around 70 to 75 yards, and a reception or two for another 10 yards. So to me, it's pretty clear, Bam or Zonovan Knight is going to get a large majority of the rushing attempts and carries, and they might look to funnel passes to Michael Carter here. So to me, that combo, that boom boom combo of Bam and Michael Carter, it makes sense tonight, given the DVP and given the final score and what both teams need here to get over the hump and to keep pushing for the playoffs. When we look at the wide receivers here, there's a lot to like, and there's a lot of sneaky value in this one with Jamal Agnew, maybe even Braxton Berrios a little bit. But let's start with Christian Kirk, their big offseason acquisition. He was a target monster to start the season. True to form, not true to form, but like any long season, you go through ebbs and flows, lulls and things like that. Christian Kirk, 13 grand on FanDuel, 10.2 on DK, $19 on Yahoo. When we look at any of the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receivers, we have to be mindful of the East Side Detroit kid, Sauce Gardner. He has burst onto the scene and realistically already in the Pro Bowl, right? I think so. And honestly, is he going to be all pro his first season? There's some records that need to be dusted dusted off and looked at. But to me, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, where are they going to put Sauce Gardner? They're going to move him around, keep him on the right side. Who knows? But to me, let's be mindful of the Jacksonville wide receivers. It's not a gimme, not by any means, because the Jets are second overall against opposing wide receivers. Zay Jones, 12 grand on FanDuel, 8-2 on DK, $17 on Yahoo. Everyone, it might flock to Zay Jones. I mean, that was my initial move last night when I'm doing the notes and making some sample lines here. So to me, you're looking at Zay, 8-9 targets, 5-6 receptions, around 60 yards here. Again, be mindful of the New York Jets secondary and Sauce Gardner, where they're going to move him around, or if they're just going to leave him on one side of the field, just shadow Christian Kirk, take him right out. So to me, if we have any news like 15-20 minutes before kickoff, we're watching pregame, and one of the hosts on what is it, Prime, Thursday Night Football on Prime, if you get a beat or a tip that they say Sauce Gardner likely to be on Christian Kirk all night, then I'm firing up Zay Jones across the board. Opposite though, if they go, well, Sauce Gardner going to shadow Zay Jones, and that makes Christian Kirk a must own in these things. So there's I can only do so much. You're going to have to just do a little bit of work leading up to kickoff here and see what we can get out of this matchup and where the Jets defensive, DBs are going to line up. Marvin Jones Jr., Jamal Agnew. Marvin Jones, no thank you. Jamal Agnew, now we're talking 7 grand on FanDuel, 2 grand on DK, and you're looking at like $10 on Yahoo. Jamal Agnew, he's like a gadget guy, right? He used to return punts and kicks, and now he's with Jacksonville, and they're giving him some work. It was all the way last year until he got hurt. Jamal Agnew, 2-3 targets, 2-3 receptions, 20 yards, and the beautiful thing here, we're looking at 1-2 carries for another 10 yards, and who's to say, they don't set up Jamal Agnew sweet on some sort of a sweep or screen pass, and he goes 25 yards, 30 yards for a touchdown. So Jamal Agnew, my sneaky kind of guy for the slate here, and again, it's no secret, Jamal Agnew, that's what he does. When we look at the Jets wide receivers, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios, and this guy named Jeff Smith, who was targeted 5 times last week, but he's questionable. I think that phase has come and gone. It was a 1-week kind of thing. Garrett Wilson, 13.5 on FanDuel, 9 grand on DK, $20 on Yahoo. This young kid has been unbelievably good, just getting targeted, peppered, however you want to put it. Garrett Wilson, 7-8 targets, 4-5 receptions, 65 to 70 yards. And get this, Jacksonville, 25th overall against opposing wide receivers. So you can see where I'm getting at. Zach Wilson has the chance to do very well here tonight if he can stay calm and composed in the pocket and not just blindly fire the football down the field. Elijah Moore, 7.5 on FanDuel, 4.8 on DK, $14 on Yahoo. Did you notice the massive price dip between Garrett and Elijah Moore on FanDuel? Wilson, 13.5, and Elijah Moore is 7.5. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's $6,000 difference here on FanDuel. Elijah Moore, 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions, around 40 to 45 yards. Corey Davis, questionable. I still, if he's active, let's toss him in there because he's $8,000 on FanDuel, 5-6 on DK, $15 on Yahoo. I have Corey Davis, almost the same identical stat line as Elijah Moore, just a few more yards. And I have Davis, 5-6 targets, Elijah, 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions for both. But I have Corey Davis at 50 yards, Elijah Moore at 40. Braxton Berrios, you want to plug him in and toss him around with Jamal Agnew. Maybe we make a line with Jamal Agnew at MVP captain and then Braxton Berrios as flex and vice versa. You know how I love to do that. I'm not even going to act like I'm like dangerous, where I'm like dangerous and I'm spicy and everything. But to me, Jamal Agnew, Braxton Berrios make for a nice little combo, especially on Thursday Night Football here tonight. When we look at the tight ends, Evan Ingram, finally, he's left the Giants, and he's kind of doing his thing now with Trevor Lawrence. You love to see that. Evan Ingram, $11,000 on FanDuel, 7.6 on DK, $20 on Yahoo. This guy, as a tight end, he's averaging 10 yards a reception. That's great to see. 7-8 targets, 4-5 receptions, around 50 yards. The Jets, 13th overall against opposing tight ends. I think Evan Ingram is very much active and in play here tonight by the targets, by the projected receptions I have. When we look at the Jets tight ends, last week, CJ Uzomah scored a touchdown. Remember him with Cincinnati. He split, and he split, and then I believe Hayden Hurst came into Cincinnati, but it's Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah. Where are we going there? Tyler Conklin, 6.5 on FanDuel. CJ Uzomah, 6.5 on FanDuel. Tyler Conklin, 3.2 on DK. Uzomah, $3,000 on DK. And we look at Conklin on Yahoo, $14. Uzomah, $10 on Yahoo. Tyler Conklin, to me, would be the move here. 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions, 35 yards or so. go. And when we look at Uzma, let's just say it with me, CJ Uzma. It's great to say 2-3 targets, 1-2 receptions, around 15 yards. When we get to the kickers, not much going on. I have Riley Patterson, 2 for 2 extra points. I have Greg the Leg Zerline, 3 for 3 extra points, and both guys 1 for 2 field goals. Each guy will attempt 2 field goals. Each guy will miss one. Each guy will make one. At what distance are they? I mean, that would be some next level DFS video statistics if I set up about 45 to 50 yards for Sorry, it is what it is. When we look at the DSTs, I think both DSTs are very much in play. We have the over-under is at 38, and to be fair, I have exactly 38 points being scored. So we're looking at like a 21-17 kind of final here, and I have the Jaguars of the 2 DSTs. I have them for an additional sack. I have them for an additional interception because we don't know what Zach Wilson we're going to get, right? Is he going to be cool, calm, and poised in the pocket? Has he ever been that? Or are we going to get that just rough shot kind of guy, throwing the football, making mistakes, and putting his team behind the 8 ball here? I think that's the way we're looking. And no, I have no ill will towards the Jets. I have no ill will towards Zach Wilson, but it's been the eye test since his rookie season to now. Is he what he is, or however the saying is? We're seeing Trevor Lawrence make that step and that leap. Zach Wilson still just kind of hanging around purgatory, mediocrity, however you want to put it. So give me the Jaguars, $9,000 on FanDuel, $3,800 on DK, only $14 on Yahoo. So let me get you some betting trends, and we'll get the heck out of here. We're almost 17 minutes into this thing. Thanks for hanging out with me if you're watching the video. Jacksonville, 2-8-1 against the spread their last 11 games on the road. The Jets, 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games after a straight-up loss. They straight up lost last week, so 5-1 ATS. The over, 8-1 in Jacksonville's last 9 games on the road, and the under, 5-2, the Jets' last 7 games at home. And get this one, when Jacksonville and the Jets play, the home team 4-0 against the spread the last 4 times these two teams have met. So what am I going to say? Be good, be safe. It is the Christmas season. We are a few days away. Let's make it there safely and on time. We got some cold weather here in the Midwest, especially Michigan. We got icy conditions and snow. So wherever you're going, leave a little bit early. Take your time. There's no rush to this thing. It should be moving slow, low and slow. However, that's probably if you're cooking a brisket. But hey, if the weather's bad, give yourself some time to get there. You can enjoy your friends and family, the tree, food, whatever you got going on. Be good, be safe, and I will see you again soon. We have one heck of a fun weekend coming up. All day main slate Saturday, and then we have a few games, 3 actually, on Christmas. So stay tuned. I'll be around. Be good, be safe. I'll see you next time around. Bye-bye.